So that's boxing at its finest right there. You heard it. They said it. Make that bad. Everything on the line.
Kev, Gervonta is an animal for real. Jake is too domestic. Here's the thing, Mike Tyson's an animal too. He was just 60. He was just 60, but he messed around and he got...
Gervonta Davis is pushing himself harder than ever in training camp for his upcoming fight with Jake Paul. His sessions are grueling, packed with relentless sparring, explosive pad work, and extreme conditioning drills. Surrounded by elite coaches, Tank's focus and aggression make it clear he's on a mission to prove that true boxing power will always overshadow celebrity hype. Some boxing experts believe Gervonta Davis may have taken on a challenge that's simply too big this time. They warn that Jake Paul's natural size and strength could become serious factors once the two step into the ring. While Tank's speed, timing, and knockout power have ruled the lighter divisions, moving up to face a much heavier opponent could push his limits. Analysts remind fans that weight classes exist for a reason, to maintain balance and safety. And even with Davis's elite skill set and ruthless finishing ability, taking on
emotionally see if he's rattled. See, when it's all said and done, the whole talking shit goes out the window. Jake's scared. And let me tell you this too. I looked at that, I'm sizing them up. I'm looking at Tank and Jake, and I'm looking at him. Tank can reach him too. He reached Ryan Garcia. He reached Mario Barrios. I was like, he ain't gonna be able to reach him. He's gonna reach him, I thought Tank's gonna reach him. He knows he's gonna reach him. Listen, I wanna say this too. Funny as hell. Before I say all this, Alicia Baumgartner, shout out to you, girl. I couldn't believe out of all the women to be the first one to do 3 minutes, 12 rounds is Alicia Baumgartner. And I really know if I have a great endurance, great stamina, and she's doing this shit. Shout out to Alicia Baumgartner. Because, what's her name, Layla? I don't really know her like that. But she looks like she ain't rattled by Alicia. So that's a perfect dance partner for that. Trying to drag Alicia Baumgartner into lake water, see what's going on with that. Shout out to Alicia Baumgartner. But let's get back to Tank. First of all, Tank knows what he's doing. Tank Davis, he said, you know, what he was just making all these implications that it's going to be scripted. When he said, you're paying me, and then he was like, yo, you're going to have to give me extra, and then he said that this is scripted.
At the end of the day, I gave this little guy an opportunity. He should be thanking me. I'm paying him. I'm his boss. He reports to me, and I'm going to fucking son him on November 14th. So fuck you, little man.
You paying me? Are you paying me?
Yeah.
100%? 100%. Facts?
Correct.
Yes? Correct?
Correct. I'm your daddy.
40. What 40 at?
Yeah, bro, but Tank it only takes one good punch. Yes, it takes one good punch when you're about the same size. There's a 60, 70 pound difference in weight in these people. I don't think nobody puts the physics in mind. Jake Paul gets punched in the face by dudes 200 pounds with all their might on a weekly basis. 135 pound puncher, bro. If y'all remember the Mayweather versus Conor McGregor fight, Conor walks around like 180 on the regular. He's like 5'9", 180. Mayweather's like 5'7", 145. That 30 pound difference, bro. If you remember that fight, Mayweather was putting mittens on Conor. Guess what happened to Conor? He didn't hit the ground once.
No.
He lasted all 12 rounds getting hit with flurries. I'm talking about Mayweather was having his time. He's being cocky with it, hitting him with all kind of combos. And we're watching the last 3 rounds of that shit like, yo, knock him out. And you know what? He could not knock him out because Conor gets punched by people that are 170, 180 pounds on a regular. And just that 20, 30 pound difference, it was like impossible for him to do anything. And that's exactly what I feel like is going to happen versus Jake and Tank.
Everyone who watched Gervonta Davis at the press conference noticed how calm, composed, and self-assured he appeared. Unlike Jake Paul, who thrives on provocation and spectacle, Tank remained focused and unbothered, displaying the discipline of a fighter who knows exactly what's at stake. His confidence wasn't loud, it was quiet, measured, and built on years of top-level experience. For Gervonta, this fight isn't about fame or social media buzz. It's about proving that skill, patience, and ring intelligence still define true boxing greatness. Every word he spoke and every glance he gave carried intent and purpose. While Jake aimed to entertain, Tank embodied professionalism and determination. His poise reminded everyone that real champions don't need chaos to shine. They rely on preparation, precision, and belief. The press conference made one thing certain. Tank Davis is here to fight, not perform.
Press conference, and you can tell, you can just look at him and tell, like, no, this dude he's gonna get this money for sure, because there's so much money out there to be had. But Jake Paul better be not playing around, man. Not get cute, not play any games, don't hit him in the back of the head, don't rabbit punch him, don't do any of that stuff, man, because Mike Tyson, first of all, Mike Tyson, a lot of people think Mike Tyson was pulling punches on Jake Paul, and a lot of people think that Anderson Silva was pulling punches on him too. You're not gonna have a little Gervonta out there pulling punches on you, man, if you're out there playing games. So, I don't like the fight at all. However, as far as it being an entertaining situation, I almost guarantee you that fight itself is going to be entertaining. That it's going to be something that you look at and you're going to say, man, everybody's going to watch it. Everybody's going to want to know what happens in it. But at the same time, it's kind of like what people think, when you see a car crash, like you're driving down the road and all of a sudden the traffic gets heavy and you're like, man, I'm going to be in traffic for a long time. And then you drive forward a little bit and then you see, oh man, this is some accident on the other side of the road and everybody just slowing down to watch. That's the type of entertainment that you can expect from this fight between Gervonta Davis and Jake Paul. There's going to be a lot of people watching it, but I gotta say, man, you really can't blame the guy on what he's doing. And there's a lot of criticism flying on Gervonta Davis. It's not Gervonta Davis's fault that boxing took this turn. This turn of these exhibition fights and people not caring about the belts and all of that stuff came with Floyd Mayweather.
Teddy Atlas, a respected boxing analyst, draws comparisons between Jake Paul's upcoming fight with Gervonta Davis and the earlier exhibition between Logan Paul and Floyd Mayweather. He believes that while Jake may hold a size and reach advantage, experience will ultimately determine the result. Atlas points out that Davis has spent years perfecting his craft at the elite level, developing instincts, patience, and composure that can't be replicated through training alone. Unlike Logan's cautious and defensive showing against Mayweather, Jake will be facing a relentless opponent who punishes every mistake. In Atlas's eyes, Tank's superior ring IQ, precision, and timing will completely neutralize Jake's physical advantages, leaving skill and experience to define the outcome.
So I liked this when I heard it? No, I didn't like it, to be honest, for the optics and everything else I just said. But you do have one guy who, yeah, he's smaller, but he's a top fighter, he can punch. And he's fighting a guy who's not a top pro fighter, who's bigger. What if he hits him on the chin? What if he hits him on the chin? It'll wind up selling. And that's what'll wind up selling it. The what if. What if Tank makes him do a cha-cha? He hits him on the chin. And Jake Paul, we're gonna find out if he can dance. Whoa. Do the cha-cha. That's what's gonna sell it. And you can't argue that what if. You can't. I know I get to places that other people won't go and everything else that just dismiss stuff because it's easier to do that, it's safer to do that. You don't have the bows and arrows coming at you from people that argue with you because you did that, but I don't care. I've had bows and arrows my whole life. I don't care. But that's true. That what if? What if this guy who is a real good puncher, who is one of the best fighters in the world right now, what if he hits him? What if he makes a miss and he counters him? Or he jumps up in the air. Right! And he hits him. Sid Terrace was a great fighter. No, not the 1700s, but years ago. And Cus D'Amato told me he loves Sid Terrace. He said, Teddy, he used to jump up in the air and hit you with 3 jabs. I said, whoa, man, Sid Terrace. All right, anyway, look, I can't finish without saying that it did invoke some memories and thoughts that we've been here before in a different way, where Jake Paul's brother fought Mayweather. That's not forget. And I'm not saying I like.
Analyst Luke Thomas offered a thoughtful take on Gervonta Davis as he prepares for his fight against Jake Paul. While acknowledging Tank's devastating knockout power and elite finishing instincts, Thomas noted a shift in his demeanor, more composed, quieter, and introspective. This, he said, doesn't signal doubt but maturity, a fighter aware of the event's true significance. To Thomas, this version of Davis understands that the fight extends beyond fame or fortune. It's about defending boxing's integrity against the spectacle-driven rise of celebrity fighters. He explained that mental transitions like this often occur when an athlete recognizes they're part of something larger than a single bout. The real test isn't only physical, but psychological, requiring calm focus, emotional control, and patience under immense pressure. Thomas believes this grounded mindset could either sharpen Davis's precision and timing or, if mismanaged, weigh him down with expectations. Either way, it reveals a new depth in Gervonta Davis, a man intent on proving that mastery, discipline, and pure skill still define greatness in the ring.
So in that sense, it's a little bit different. It's not different in the sense of a boxer in his prime or relative prime straying off the path, but this one is not. It's not like someone else, in a similar weight. It's like completely the opposite. And so that makes it, I think, look and feel weird. And then on top of it, obviously, Gervonta's got other business to handle. He looked to me, Gervonta, absolutely, completely disinterested. Even at the beginning of this year, and even at the pre-fight Lamont Roach stuff, Tank was talking about how much time he has left in boxing, which he was sort of wasn't much. The Lamont Roach fight, it blew up in his face, but Lamont Roach was cherry-picked. I think Tank thought, I'll just fight another guy from, the mid-Atlantic area who's, remember Roach came up from 30 to 35 to fight him, and Tank thought he was just going to cruise, and then it blew up in his face, and you're left with that. So you're making a point about he's got this obligation. That's true, but he was already fucking around. He was already taking opponents that, again, I think Roach showed everyone that was a mistake, but put yourself in Tank's mind. Tank was taking a fight against someone he was clearly, in his mind anyway, better than, and was just going to cruise. So he was already in that state. Then you marry that with statements like, I don't know how much longer I'm going to be doing this, and blah, blah, blah. And, I'm worried about going to therapy because it'll take away my competitive edge. And, kind of teetering on the edge a little bit about whether or not this is a thing he wants to do. Then he,
The growing tension between Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis perfectly captures how this fight blurs the line between spectacle and true competition. Their heated face-off wasn't just an exchange of words or aggression. It embodied the entire story driving the event. On one side stands Jake Paul, a larger-than-life internet celebrity turned fighter who thrives on power, confidence, and media attention. On the other stands Gervonta "Tank" Davis, a world champion defined by precision, timing, and elite ring IQ. The intrigue lies in a classic question: can raw size and strength overpower refined skill and experience? This matchup isn't only about ego. It's a symbol of boxing's evolution, where entertainment and athletic mastery collide. Jake represents the modern, media-driven wave of boxing, while Tank embodies its pure discipline and tradition. Their clash is more than a fight. It's a statement about which force truly defines the sport today. As the bell approaches, fans wait not just for punches to land, but to see what this showdown will say about boxing's future in an era ruled by fame, money, and ambition.
Left hand down the pipe. You can even see here, I'm not even trying to do the whole body language breakdown, but you could even see Tank could get under that left hand because he's 5-0. He could roll under that left hand, and here comes the brick hand over the top. If he lands something like that in 10 ounces, I'm going to tell you this. Jake's 200 and something pounds. That's still going to hurt at the very least, and who knows what, because Tank's got ridiculous power. So Jake, a little sloppy on the push there. He got pushed. He wanted to get it back. There's something to be taken away from that, but lines up perfectly for a counter left hand. And you even see his promoter here is kind of grabbing his left hand because Tank wanted to let it fly. And Jake backed up a little bit. He said, oh, and Tank comes from that. Tank, man. Tank said, where I'm from, the bullies get bullied. All right, dude, there you go. Listen, takeaways from this thing, I don't know. Tank seemed to have a little bit more energy today. He seemed to be more lively. Him going back and forth with the media, with Jay Leon, with Jake, with Aiden Ross. There seemed to be a bit more energy today. That's all I really asked for. So in terms of, selling us on something, sure. better job today from both guys. Jake, seemed a bit more locked in here with Tank as well. They had a little bit more fun. Tank going after Nikisa was pretty funny. But listen, this doesn't change anything in my mind. The 10-ounce gloves doesn't really change anything to me. I mean, again, I think that's a bad idea for Tank, more so because even if Jake doesn't land clean, those are 10-ounce gloves, still gonna hurt. Tank is still punching in gloves that are 2 ounces heavier than he normally uses, so I don't know how that's a win for him. The $2 million bet almost certainly won't happen, which I didn't think would in the first place, but Tank pretty much confirmed it. And we're all left with the same kind of idea that we thought about this to begin with. This is an entertainment exhibition that we know is gonna draw a ton of eyeballs. I'm gonna watch, and there's gonna be great high-level competition boxing on the underneath card. And even in the main event, if something is to happen, if someone is to get knocked out, it will go mega viral, and both these guys are going to make a shit ton.
Promoter Nakisa by Darian added extra intrigue to the upcoming fight by revealing key details about its official rules. He confirmed that both Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis will compete using 10-ounce gloves, a decision that immediately set off debates among fans and analysts. Typically, heavier fighters wear larger gloves to soften impact and prioritize safety, but this setup favors speed and precision over protection. Considering Jake's significant size advantage, the use of smaller gloves helps level the playing field while making every exchange far more dangerous. Bidarian's announcement shows how deliberately this event has been structured to balance spectacle with fairness, ensuring that both men face real, equal risk. The choice also heightens excitement, as the lighter gloves guarantee a faster, more explosive contest where every clean punch has the potential to change the fight instantly.
At 195 max weight.
Okay.
10 3-minute rounds.
Okay.
And 12-ounce gloves. And most of you guys know boxing, right? Most of the fights are with 10-ounce gloves. Fighters spar in 16-ounce gloves. 12-ounce and 10-ounce gives you a little bit more safety, which is the key here, given the size difference, but there's a massive experience difference. We will have 3 world-class judges ringside that the commission has approved to ensure there's a rendered decision for the fans. It will not go on their record, but there will be 3 experienced judges, some of the best in the business, giving their view of who won the fight.
So let me just follow up with this then. The Florida statute says that it means an exhibition means a boxing, kickboxing, or mixed martial arts.
You saw the exhibition of Floyd and Logan.
Okay.
So just go with that, and if they weren't trying to hit each other, tell me they weren't trying to hit each other.
The upcoming clash between Gervonta Davis and Jake Paul has already taken over the boxing world, but once again, Floyd Mayweather has managed to redirect some of that spotlight toward himself. For years, Floyd has mastered the art of staying relevant, appearing just when attention starts to shift, ensuring no major event happens without his influence being felt. His latest move proves he still knows how to command headlines, even from outside the ring. Meanwhile, as debates continue, some fans backing Jake's size advantage, others trusting Tank's precision and power, Gervonta stays locked in. He's training relentlessly, blocking out noise, and focusing on what truly matters: performance. In the end, while the media spins narratives and fans pick sides, Tank's work inside the ropes will deliver the only answer that counts.
Jake Paul will face Gervonta Davis in an exhibition match. Quote, "You can't do a fight like that as a pro fight," Shipman said. "It'll be an exhibition fight," end quote. Similarly to the concerning location move, he states that the main reason for this is the significant weight disparity between the 2 opponents. An exhibition is defined by Florida statutes as a boxing, kickboxing, or mixed martial arts engagement in which persons participating show or display their skills without necessarily striving to win, using strikes, elbows, blah, blah, blah. So, the key word here is, key phrase, show or display their skills without necessarily striving to win.
That's it for today's video. Stay tuned, and we'll catch you in the next one.